A lot of us think that eggs are a health food, right? They're part of the staple healthy breakfast, but are we off base about that? Are we being misled? Because today we're going to be looking at the surprising amount of cholesterol that is found in an egg and what that could mean for your health. Could that spell clogged arteries, or are eggs really a health food and you have clean arteries? Well, to break everything down egg style, we're going to break the yolk with Dr. Neil Barnard here in just a little bit about eggs. How much cholesterol then is in an egg white compared to a regular egg? And we had a viewer write in wondering about eggs and diabetes. Is there a connection there? It's my pleasure. And I know eggs have been a hot topic for us at the Physicians Committee for a long time. So I'm really glad that you and I are going to get the opportunity to clear up some confusion. And so, why don't we just go ahead and jump right in and answer the first question that we have from a viewer? How much cholesterol is actually in an egg?
A lot. The eggs are the highest cholesterol food that there is. Roughly 200 milligrams in a given egg. Now, the amount will vary because people have been concerned about cholesterol. And so with breeding techniques and different feeding techniques, you can manipulate the amount of cholesterol in an egg. But it's never anything other than very high. And that is because the chicken lays the egg, and that egg is sitting there, and the egg is not calling out for room service or anything. The chick inside the egg has to make bones, skin, organs, feathers, and everything from what was laid on the day that egg came out of the mom. And so that means there's a huge amount of cholesterol and a lot of everything else, so that when the chick pops out, you've got feathers and a beak and eyes and everything all made together. It requires a lot of cholesterol to build those animal tissues, and that's the reason it's there. If you eat it, it will add to your cholesterol level.
And how does the amount of cholesterol in an egg compare to some of the things that you would find in a drive-through, perchance? I know that, like, when you compare it, I think I've seen on our website, as a matter of fact, when you stack it up against a Big Mac, it's pretty comparable, right?
Yeah, and there are really two considerations. One is the cholesterol itself, which is what we've been talking about. And there has been sort of a half-hearted debate over the years as to whether cholesterol that you eat actually adds to cholesterol in your blood. It does. When you look at the data, it's really quite clear. But the effect of eating cholesterol, the cholesterol part of the egg, is not as bad as the saturated fat that's in eggs and in animal products and so forth too. So yeah, there's maybe 200 milligrams of cholesterol in an egg, but you have two eggs, you got also a little more than 3 grams of saturated fat. That stimulates your body to make more cholesterol. So the drive-through, you get the sandwich that might have egg in it, might have meat in it, might have cheese in it. Those saturated fats that are there are big drivers of cholesterol production in your body.
And we have a follow-up question. Somebody wondering, well, then how much cholesterol is found in egg whites?
0. It's all in the yolk, but the egg white is a whole big glob of unnecessary animal-based protein that you're better off without.
All right. Now here's an interesting question about eggs. Haven't heard this connection just yet. We have one from Britt who wrote and said that a friend recently told them that eggs can cause diabetes. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, this has been an issue for quite a number of years. And the data all really come from observational studies where you look at egg eaters. And what you see is the more eggs they eat, the higher their risk of developing diabetes. It's been a repeated finding. It does seem convincing. Nobody has exactly identified why that would be, except that anytime you have a diet that's got a lot of animal fat in it, meat fat, or the fat in eggs, that does tend to lead toward insulin resistance, which brings you toward diabetes. So yeah, these are observational studies. They're believable, but nobody's done a randomized trial where for 5 years you feed some people eggs and you feed others no eggs, and you see if you come out better by avoiding the eggs. People haven't done that.
We have a follow-up question from Aliana. She wrote this one at 12:07. Said, "My parents are convinced that eating cholesterol does not affect your cholesterol levels. Is that really true?" She's just looking for clarification here.
It is true that cholesterol you eat does raise your blood cholesterol, but you are it's understandable that your parents would be confused because the egg industry has spent millions upon millions of dollars to try to make that go away. And in 2015, everything just really hit the fan. The egg industry, through documents that I can share with you, um, released a number of studies where they tried to make the effect of eggs on cholesterol levels look very small. And they convinced the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee to not set a specific ceiling on eggs. So they didn't say, prior to that, they'd said, don't have more than about 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day, which is about maybe an egg and a half, something like that. Um, but in 2015, they removed the ceiling. But they didn't say that cholesterol doesn't matter. What they did say was eat as little cholesterol as possible, meaning don't eat eggs. So it's understandable that people are confused about it, but cholesterol you eat raises your cholesterol in the same way as somebody could argue that if you eat sugar, it won't get into your blood. But that's a pretty hard argument to make. And cholesterol you eat is the same way it gets into your blood.
Here's a great question from Colleen. This is at 12:07 as well. She's watching today on YouTube, basically asking, well, if not eggs, what? What are some good egg replacements that you might suggest?
Oh, well, there are lots and lots of things. First of all, if you're having breakfast and you make a big bowl of oatmeal and you flavor it up with some cinnamon and raisins and sliced bananas and things like that, you're getting no cholesterol, unlike the egg. You're getting effectively no bad fat, unlike the egg, and also unlike the egg, which is going to raise your cholesterol. Oat products have soluble fiber, which the egg doesn't have, and they tend to lower your cholesterol level a little bit too. Now, if you want to have something that's really more eggy, if you have scrambled eggs in the morning, have you ever tried scrambled tofu? Now, Americans are nervous about tofu, but once they discover that tofu is almost identical to egg white in that it picks up the flavors that it's cooked with, and has no animal protein, no animal anything, it works out really, really very well. You add a little bit of soy sauce, a little nutritional yeast, and flavor it up, and you'll find yourself really liking it. There are, of course, all kinds of new vegan egg substitutes that are now on the market. You could try them if you want to. There are lots of things to eat. You don't need eggs.